So guys, before we get started, don't forget we do have that amazing discount code thanks to Tier 0 Games going on right now. And all you have to do is put in ZWGames5 to get 5% discount on your total order at tier0games.com. The links will be in the description below. What's up YouTube, Day Heavens Ever War Games, bringing you my Endymion Magician deck profile. Yes, of course, as you saw on our opening, Endymions are now officially out. And where best place to start than the Endymion Magician build. Now, of course, Joe will bring you a budget version, which will be 3 of the starter decks put together because they can still produce very, very powerful kind of plays, and it's still very, very useful in today's game. This is my personal build, mixing them with Pendulum Magicians, which gives me the most kind of success that I've played around with. Of course, there are other different versions. You've got the Zephyr engine, you've also got the Morphage Sloth kind of plays as well. This is all designed to go first, set up a powerful stun board with like 3 to 5 negates, which you'll see in the test hands that I'll be bringing you guys tomorrow. And then from those test hands, kind of what you'll be doing is building off of those consistent negates to stop your opponent out. Now, if you want to change it up and make it more of an OTK version, you can do. It does have the OTK potential in it, but it just depends on what sole focus you want the deck to do. So without further ado, I'll take you through the deck, show you what we've got, explain why we've got it, and like I promised with the opening, each video that I do in regards to Endymions will have a exclusive giveaway for one of these Zephyr War Games branded dice, and you will need them for a deck like this purely because they can be used as very, very helpful spell counters for the deck. So all you have to do is stay tuned until the end of that, and I'll tell you exactly how you can win one of these beautiful dice. So without further ado, let's zoom out a little bit and I'll show you what we've got. So we start off with 2 of the boss monster, Endymion, the Mighty Master of Magic. This is incredibly easy to search and summon out of the deck. More so summoning out of the deck with your Servant of Endymion. So you don't need to have this at 3 if you don't want to, because it can get a little bit cloggy having so many high levels in your deck. It's still very, very good to help extend your plays, and having him on board, he is one of your main negators. He just bounces something that can have a spell counter on it, that has a spell counter on it as well, bounces it back to hand, negates a spell or trap card or effect your opponent activates and destroys it, and then the spell counters go on from the card you bounced onto this card, and then this card gains the effect that it can't be targeted with card effects and can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects while it has a spell counter on it. And then if it's destroyed about, you add 1 normal spell card from your deck to your hand, which is insane. Next, the best Endymion card in my opinion, and that is Servant of the Endymion. So we play 3 of this guy or this girl. Incredible, actually insane card. So in the scale effect, I forgot to mention the Endymion Mighty Master scale effect is you remove 6 spell counters from the field, special summon him from your scale, and then he can destroy cards up to the number of cards you control that have spell counters on it. What you've got to keep in mind is that is actually mandatory. It's not you can destroy it, it's destroy up to. So if you summon it out during your turn, you've got nothing else your opponent to destroy on your opponent's board, you do have to start popping your own stuff. Anyway, Triple Servant of Endymion, the best card in the structure set in my opinion. So its scale effect is each time a spell card is activated, you place 1 spell counter on this card. When that spell resolves, you remove 3 spell counters from this card, special summon both this card from your Pendulum Zone and 1 monster from your deck with 1,000 or more attack that you can place spell counters on, and if you do, place a spell counter on each. So if you don't open up any of your extenders like your Cerberus, your Chronograph, or of course your Darkworm, your Servant of Endymion actually acts as a nice extender to save your normal summon and your Pendulum Summon to go into Electromite, which is really, really cool. And then its monster effect is you can only special summon it once per turn. This card with a spell counter on it can attack directly once per turn, once per opponent's turn, sorry. Quick effect, you can discard 1 card, place 1 spell counter on each card you control that you can place a spell counter on. If this card is in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card into your Pendulum Zone and place the same number of spell counters on that card onto this card as a scale. We've then got the 1 Magister of Endymion, sorry. The reason we don't run this higher is because, again, it's easily searchable, and on top of that, his scale effect is pretty much the same as Servant of Endymion's, but it brings it from the face up extra deck, so it's a bit more of a late game extender, or not late game extender, but a late turn extender. So again, it requires 3 spell counters. You remove those, you special summon this card from your Pendulum Zone, 1 face-up monster from your extra deck that you can place spell counters on. So what you've got to keep in mind with these is they can actually bring out the Cerberus and Jackal, because they can also contain spell counters. You can only special summon Magister once per turn, and then once per turn when this card declares an attack, you place 1 spell counter on it. Once per opponent's turn, you can remove 3 spell counters from your field, special summon 1 monster from your deck that you can place spell counters on. If you do, deck that you can place spell counters on. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place this card into your scale. So what you can do is during your opponent's turn, if you haven't got a Mighty Master and you've got this, you can use this effect to remove 3 counters from anywhere on your field, bring out your Mighty Master, and as long as you've got something that you can bounce a counter on, his effect then becomes live. Now onto the Magician engine. There's lots of little engines in here, so obviously you've got the triple chronograph with the 1 time gazer. We've then got triple harmonizing, the most important Pendulum Magician monster in the deck. And then we play a lot of 1-offs. So for the 7s, we've got 1 Dragon Pit and 1 Jank. Now, you don't have to play this. This is purely just overload of the Pendulum Magicians. The other reason I've gone for 1 Janky is because it's got a free scale, which is very, very nice. You do need some of your lower scales because you do have, as you can see, a lot of high scale monsters. For the 6s, of course, we've got the 1 Oath Dragon, and then we've got 4s is 1 Black Fang and 1 Purple Poison. All quite straightforward on that. They are there for your rank 4 plays, rank 7 plays, Synchro level 8 plays, and rank 6 Naruto plays. Then we'll move on to the Mythical Beast engine, and that is of course triple Cerberus and double Jackal, both easily special summon. So the best thing about Cerberus right now is it can actually become an insane boss monster because you can summon it off of Servant of Endymion and of course Magister, and that then allows you to remove 4 counters from anywhere and then banish 1 card your opponent controls, which is really, really cool. And then for the Dark Worm engine, of course, we've got 2 Dark Worm, 1 Gate Zero, and then a 1 Destrudo. This is all for play extensions, and there's actually a really, really nice combo with Dark Worm that if you can't get your rank 7s on board to make your Absolute Dragon, you can still, using the Guard Dragons, go into Vortex if you wanted to, or of course, if you did want to play a different style of Dragon monster in your extra deck, like Abyss or anything like that, or just go straight out your Borrow Sword or Borrowload, you can bring that out on top of that as well. Onto the spells, triple spell power mastery. This is the brand new spell card in the structure deck. Add 1 Endymion card from your deck to the hand. Then you can count the number of spell power mastery and spell power grass you control and or have in your graveyard. Place that many spell counters among cards you control that you can place a spell counter on. You can only activate 1 of these per turn. So the best thing about this is if you've already got a scale on it, one of your Endymion scales, or of course you've got the Citadel of Endymions, this basically gives it 2 tokens because they'll get 1 spell counter just from activating this card, and then they'll get additional 1 from this card's effect. So it's really, really good to help you boost up. Double Pot of Desires, you play so many, like, the whole idea with Pendulum monsters is you want to make sure you've got enough spells to play for your Endymions to gain their counters, but then on top of that you just want to extend your hand as best you possibly can so you can dump your entire hand on board and either go, here's my negates, break my board, or I'm going to OTK you right now. So Desires is actually the best draw card for this deck in that sense. And on top of that, we do get a brand new one. I think it's called like Pendulum Halt that we get in Dark Neostorm. And it's a super, which allows you to draw 2 cards as well. If you have 3 face-up Pendulum monsters with different names in your extra deck, which is quite easy to do. And again, it's an additional extension. You just can't add your cards from your deck to your hand after that. So basically what you want to do is make all of your plays bar the Pendulum Summon, and then extend your board from then on, which is very, very cool. We've then got 2 P-Call. I still think this card is incredibly powerful. If you don't have your Harmonizer, it searches that out. If you don't have your scales, it searches them out, and then it protects your scales from being destroyed. And the best thing with the Endymion cards is the Endymion cards don't destroy themselves to use their effects, so it can bypass the protection effect to this. The only downside is if you have to use P-Call before you've made your Electromite kind of becomes slightly dead unless you're going to pop a Pendulum Magician card on the field, or a Pendulum monster on the field, not including your scales. We've then got double Citadel and the 1 Terraforming. It is important and it isn't at the exact same time, so it can be cut. It's down to personal preference, but I just find it very, very useful that you can stack so many counters on this card, and especially in the mirror match, if you can play this card, go in second, and then your opponent's got stuff with spell counters on it. If you start clearing off those spell counters, from what we can see, Citadel says on the field, so any card that has spell counters on it, basically, where is it? If a card with spell counters is destroyed, So just if a card with a spell counters is destroyed, place its spell counters on this card. So I'm pretty sure that in the mirror matchup, if you're popping any of their cards with spell counters on it, you just stack up on Citadel. And then the best thing about Citadel is, once per turn, if you would activate a card effect by removing a spell counter or counters from your field, you can remove them from the Citadel instead. So that, again, that's very, very good because it allows you to use your card effects from your Endymions and, of course, your Cerberus and Jackal, even if you don't have enough tokens to do so yourself on those specified cards. But obviously Jackal and Cerberus do that themselves anyway, but it does mean that you can just take them off the Citadel for your Endymions as well. It just gives you a bit more, another card to stack counters on. And then we've got the double Dragon Shrine and the one Foolish Barrel. I'm tempted to put Dragon Shrine up to 3, but it can be a bit of a brick. You've got to get the right balance between spells and, of course, monsters, in the sense that you want more monsters in your Pendulum deck and less spells, but with the Endymions you do want a nice amount of spells that you can just activate straight off the bat to start gaining your counters. So you've got to be very, very careful with that one as well, and kind of move your plays further forward that way. Now onto the extra deck. We're going to go straight through with the Link monsters. So the Link monsters are quite straightforward. You've got your one Electromite, and then you've got your Zephyr Metaltron. We've got your Borrowload, Borrowload, Unicorn, and Phoenix. All quite straightforward and staple on that one. The best thing about these is if you want to go offensive, and you do make the Guard Dragon combo, which is LP, Agapane, and Triple Burst, you can bring out your Borrowsword or your Borrowload as well. So it does save you 4 Link materials if you want to go more aggressive. Then, of course, we've got the standard generic defensive play. So these are the cards that you're going to be playing, well, apart from the Arcanine. Arcane is insanely powerful. So because it's not a once per turn, you just remove spell counters. You just remove spell counters to destroy a card you control. Destroy a card your opponent controls. So you remove a spell counter from a card you control. So for Citadel, if you've stacked up your Citadel and it's got like 7 tokens on it, that's 7 pops. And it's just an opponent's card. So it doesn't have to be face up, face down, back row, front row. It doesn't matter. So you just go, okay, effect, remove a counter, pop a card. Effect, remove a counter, pop a card. And you just start poking away at your opponent, clearing off their board. And then you go aggressive and finish him off the game, because you can leave the tokens on here, so he's a 2400 beater, and then you're putting that on top of the other cards that you're going to have, which will probably be like a Zephyr Metaltron, maybe a like possibly a Naruto, possibly an Absolute, possibly a Vortex, possibly a Savage. Like, you can have so many cards on board, and you start poking away at your opponent and chipping away their life. For the defensive plays, of course, you've got the one Dawn Dragster, the one at Naruto, the Moral Leader, and then obviously Odd Eyes Absolute and Vortex, because that gives you 2 routes into a Vortex Dragon, which is very, very important, because a 3k defensive beater that can negate anything is powerful as heck. And then, of course, you've got the one that's Savage Dragon, which again can negate anything. And usually, if you go through the Guard Dragon combo, you're adding a Triple Burst, so it gets another token to negate. If you're going through the normal combo, you add Heavy Metaphors Electromite, so it gives it 2 tokens and still gives it enough negates to do its job. So, ending board usually will end up with 3 negates in the form of any of these 4, plus your Endymion. And then if you do play hand traps, if you want to put the hand traps in, you can have those as an additional negation as well. The reason we don't put hand traps in here is because I don't really want to, like I said, they're more in the side, because I want to be going first. I want to open up as many scales and pendulum monsters as I possibly can to flood the board and basically say to my opponent, during game 1, break my board or you're going to lose. And then during game 2, what you do is you side in, probably because they're going to make you go second, you side in either your OTK potential cards, or of course you side in your hand traps to disrupt your opponent as best as possible, and then just finish your opponent off. So that's the dangers of pendulums, is that they can go both first and second, and they're incredibly powerful. There's still a couple of tweaks I want to be making to the deck. I still need to look into a couple of bits as well, but this deck so far is what I've been testing, and it's been doing me very, very well, as you can see in the test hand video that will be going up for you guys tomorrow. Anyway, now let's move on to the moment you've all been waiting for, and that is, of course, how you can get your hands on these Zephyr Wargames dice. So there'll be 3 lucky winners. One winner will get one of these dice each, and it's very, very simple. Each Endymion video I'm doing, there'll be 3 new dice, so you've got loads of chances to win one of these. And all I want you to do is very, very simple. Like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, subscribe and like our Facebook page, the link will be in the description below. And then finally, once you've done all of those steps, just to confirm you've done them, put in the comments down below your favourite spellcaster. That's all I want, your favourite spellcaster. It can be Dark Magician, it can be Dark Magician Girl, it can be Harmonizer Magician, it can be Endymion, it could be High Priestess of Prophecy. It could be absolutely any spellcaster you can possibly think of in the Yu-Gi-Oh game. Put them down below and a lucky 3 winners will be chosen at random. But anyway, for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and until next time guys, as always, happy dueling.
What's up YouTube, Dad here with War Games. Thanks for watching that video. If you liked it, please hit that big thumbs up button in the bottom corner as well. And don't forget to hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Make sure you click that notification bell as well so you know every time one of our new videos goes up. Throughout the whole year of 2019, we're going to have more deck profiles, duels, and of course pack openings for you guys to watch and enjoy the entire year round. So stay tuned for more, and as always guys, happy dueling.